Hello everybody, it's 7 o'clock and it's 7 o'clock here in my time here in Johnston, Iowa, and we are really excited both here and with Teacher and Teacher to bring to you our very first long-term live broadcast of Ask Sarah. I have to tell you that over the past 8 months, this teacher-to-teacher community has really embraced this little column in the best ways. And make no mistake about it, it has absolutely been your questions and your feedback and your engagement that's really making a difference to teachers. I also have to tell you that it has always seemed to me that questions are incredibly powerful, both personally and professional. They've always seemed to me to be these little acts of bravery. Every time we ask a question, we open up this space for, for celebration or revelation, for truth, for another question. So it is in the spirit of these little acts of bravery that we get to spend the next half hour or so together. And this is what you can expect over our time together. We're going to do kind of 3 segments tonight. The first segment, I'm going to take 2 brand new questions that have just come in, and then I'm going to give you an update on one of our readers, and then finally do a little revision on some of the advice that I gave a while ago. So let's get started with some new questions tonight that have just come in. One of them is aimed at veteran teachers. The second one is aimed at new teachers, but I think you're going to find that both of them are really just for all of us. So here we go with the first one. Dear Sarah, what are your suggestions in trying to move veteran teachers along to the Common Core state standards? Some are still stuck in the depth of knowledge level 1 question format and use packet work to teach their lessons. There's no interaction or collaborative work taking place. Sincerely, moving others along. Well, moving others along, you're not the only one in this boat. And I would say that from what you already know about your own students, we can't force people to change, right? We can invite them to change. And we know that they have to construct their own understanding about these changes. Otherwise, the best we're going to get is compliance. So I think what we're really talking about here with this question is probably not the surface problem, which is the worksheets and little interaction, which I know how frustrating that is, right? But I think it's what's really underneath that, right? Which is the fear and isolation. It's the fear that this teacher probably has about doing it wrong, about doing it alone. It is the reality of isolation, which is that we don't know what we don't know. And when that happens, we just get stuck. I remember as a young teacher having this experience with a teacher that I worked with. And every time someone would offer an idea, it would never work, right? She was just kind of impervious to change. And I didn't do a good job of ever making sense of it. It's one of those regrets, one of those things I so wish I could go back with kind of the wisdom of experience now and approach it differently, because I would want to bring her into this conversation. And maybe you've already done everything that you can. Maybe you have already opened up your door and asked her for advice or him for advice. Maybe you have already shared your own insecurities or uncertainties and really genuinely asked this colleague to help or to weigh in on how you sort through that. If you've tried all of these things, I think you have to keep doing what you're doing, but you have to do it openly. So metaphorically and literally, we have to open our doors. We have to be just as willing to make mistakes as we are to share our successes. Of course, this question is not just for veteran teachers, because I know there are all kinds of veteran teachers who are the change agents in their schools and their districts. So it's for all of us, and it really is a reminder about the difference between coming to this work with presence and enthusiasm and seeing it as a job.